Hey folks, so I noticed on my demographics, it's almost all 18 to 24 men. There's a small percentage of women, actually not tiny, but I'm guessing that you're here, or at least, clicked on the video initially because you were interested in how to get a better shave. And in that case, we're going to do a video for it, and I will probably do more in the future. But what I'm going to go through is what I'm doing and why I'm doing it as it relates to getting a better shave, even if you're using a cartridge razor and can foam. Because while what I'm using is arguably a superior product to get a better shaving experience, most people, and I mean including myself, have spent most of our lives using cartridges and can shaving cream. My advice is to ditch the can before you ditch the cartridge. Something like a real shaving cream will do a better job for you percentage-wise. Like, you can get a good shave with a cartridge. Your shaving cream is probably holding you back more than the cartridge. Now, experience-wise, that's a little different. So, first, pre-shave. You want to get your face wet. You want your whiskers, your fuzz, your hair wet. You want it to hydrate itself and get softened up. That makes a huge difference. If you don't do that, you are working harder. You're going to get more irritation. You're going to have more drag on the razor. It's just tougher overall. Very much so against the grain on your neck. If you are somebody who absolutely cannot go against the grain on your neck, look into your pre-shave. The other thing I would look at is a pre-shave product. I use Gillette Trumper Skin Food, but there are others. Some sort of pre-shave oil that basically creates a slick surface on your skin that stays even when you are peeling off that soap with the razor. It just gives you a little more residual slickness. It protects your skin a little bit. It helps. Your soap, if you do a real soap or a cream, it should be wet. The whole idea is to suspend water on your face. The water is the lubricant, not the soap. If your shaving cream is dry, it's not helping you. I would suggest starting with a shaving cream. Cremo is an easy one to get at Walmart or most grocery stores. If you want to go fancier, Gillette Trumper also does a cream that is very affordable and is available on Amazon. Just keep in mind, the Gillette Trumper one is, you have to get it wet. You can do it by hand, but it's meant to get wet. It isn't, you don't take it out of the tube and put it right on your skin. It's not like a shaving tube or a shaving cream in a tube or oh my God. It's not like a shaving cream in a can where, you hit the button and it sprays out in foam. Those are different. So first, let's get my face ready. Let's get it wet. Let's get it ready to go. Actually, first, let me load my razor because that takes a second, and I would rather, once I get my face wet, I would rather roll into things. So, first, we're going to take the Wilkinson sword out because I'm done with that blade. I have a little blade disposal container. Drop that in. And I'll throw that whole thing out there like $1, $2. So, we're going to use a Personna lab blade. These are called Lab Blues. They don't have an official name, they just have a number, but most of the shaving community calls them Lab Blues. Close that up. The razor I'm using, if you're curious, is a 40s style Gillette Super Speed. This is a vintage razor. This particular one has not been restored, but it was in excellent shape. So this is a very old razor. Still shaves really well. Of the razors I own, this is the best shaving razor. So we're ready to go on that. Now I'm gonna get my face wet and put on the Skin Food. Okay. Now, you can go much longer than that. That was a very abbreviated pre-shave for getting it wet. However, my skin and my fuzz hydrates really quickly, so that's not an issue. I still have pretty tough hair, tough beard. However, it doesn't change much past where I just did. I use 2 pumps. I don't know if that's enough. I don't know if that's too much. And I'm basically working that into the fuzz, into my stubble, trying to get it under the stubble a little bit. So I'm working against the grain. Okay. Now I'm gonna get my soap ready. This particular one is Southern Witchcraft's Incorporeal. It's a non-scented traditional shaving soap. I have a wet brush, my bowl. The soap is basically, I smeared it around the bottom of the bowl. You can also use the whole puck and work up some leather in the puck. I like to do it this way. And I have a wet brush. I have water in there. You call it blooming, where it's softening up the soap, it's getting it ready to use. Okay, now I need to get more water. And I'm gonna have to do that a couple times. You actually need a fair bit of water, because remember what I said, it's the water, not the shaving cream or soap, that's doing the work and protecting your face. The soaps help, but they are almost secondary. This is what's keeping it there. But the water is the lubricant. Sometimes I use a teaspoon measuring thing and do it that way instead of dipping my brush. Okay. Lather is ready. You see how it kind of holds its shape and it has a bit of a sheen to it. That's probably not going to show up on camera. But the lather is able to hold a shape but is still fluffy. And it's going to be pretty wet when I put it on my face. Go against the grain, get it under the hairs. Now there's something called grain mapping for your face where you figure out what direction the hair is growing in your face. Most people are pretty similar, but the details get tricky. It matters. So, for the most part, people's hair grows down on their cheeks, and then their jawline, it starts growing back toward your ears. Same with your neck. However, not entirely. There'll be spots where it's doing different stuff. Mine tends to grow at an angle coming backward on my cheeks, and then I've got some weird spots where it does other stuff. Your neck changes directions a couple spots. You just got to play with it and feel it. My suggestion is to let your hair grow out like a day and a half or so and just run your fingers over it and see which direction. Why is that important? Well, it's important because your first pass with the razor should be in the direction of the grain of your fuzz. If your stubble goes a particular way, that's your first pass. Follow it. So you're going to do one direction, change the direction, change the direction, change the direction. You're going to follow it. Your second pass, you're going to go across it, not against it, across it. On your neck, you may never go against the grain. Try it, but you might not. It helps get closer, but it can be irritating. Particularly with cheaper razors, it tends to be very irritating. So let's get to it. I'm going to do a with the grain pass, and this is obviously the first shave with this blade. This is a very nice blade, but it tends to, after the first shave, it tends to fade off. Now notice, I'm going to do multiple shaves effectively. I'm going to do first pass, second pass, third pass. They are effectively whole new shaves. You can do that with a regular cartridge and foam. It will help. It will reduce irritation. It just takes more time. So, I'm also using minimal pressure. I'm letting the razor basically drag across my skin without me pushing on it. Just sort of edge in here. I tend to forget that later on, so I'm just getting it done. Okay. Get my beer out of the way. So this back and forth motion I'm making, like that, it's called buffing, where you don't pick the razor up, you just slide it back a little bit and keep going. It can help you feel whether you really got an area. Don't obsess over that. On a multi-pass shave, you're gonna have still more to shave each pass. Your idea is that you're getting closer, closer, closer. Now, if I was not interested in a closer shave, this is going to be a halfway decent shave right now, done. It will not be perfectly smooth. If you run your fingers against the grain on the face, you'll feel it. Even with the grain a little bit, or across the grain, I mean, you'll feel it a little bit. But it's pretty good. You could stop there. However, that's not getting you the best shave you can get. Now, I added a little more water to my lather because had time to sit there and dry out a little bit. Remember, it's the water. It's the water that is the key. This is called wet shaving for a reason. You can wet shave with a cartridge razor. You will still get a superior shave. Okay. Now I'm going to go across the grain. It's called XTG is usually how it's referred to. And on my face, this upper part here goes this way. Down here, I'm going to go vertical. Okay. So I was going to stop now. That would be a 2-pass shave, which is closer than the 1-pass shave. We're going to get some more water. Okay. So now we're going to go XTG. I'm going to start on my jawline because that's the more sensitive area. I'm going to work down and then I'm going to do my face. Now here is where I'm going to try for closer. A little more buffing because I can feel where I'm missing spots. And I don't want to go back and do cleanup. Since I don't want to do cleanup, I got to get it now. Now this is why I love this blade. I would not be doing that like that with any other blade, or even this blade on shave 2 and higher. I'm also taking advantage of the fact that I'm using a very good soap with a pre-shave. Otherwise, I would re-lather. But I can feel when it starts to pull a little bit because the lather is drying out and there's no more protection. A little buffing. There's a trouble spot right here for me, so we're working on it harder. Like I said, taking full advantage of an exceptionally good blade and good software. Okay. Now we're going to clean up the mess I made. I'm going to rinse all this off. And in my case, I'm not going to use an alum block. An alum block is an astringent. It kind of tightens up your face. It closes up any little nicks and cuts you might have gotten. For example, I could use one there. It's not enough to worry about. And my post-shave product is going to deal with that. Skin Food does help with that. So let's get on with it. Okay. Squeezy out my beard. Effectively, my beard gets an extra shampoo every day. Now, depending on your aftershave product, you may or may not want to dry your face off. With the Skin Food, I do, because otherwise my face gets over moisturized. But I'm not going to like dry it. We're just patting it out. It's right here still. Back to the Skin Food. This is a sample size, by the way. Lasts quite a while. You can get samples like that from Maggard Razors online. Oh, that is such a good shave. Oh my God. Guys, that's why I love that blade and that soap. That is a baby butt smooth shave with no cleanup work. That is exceptional. Even on my neck, that is so good. Ow, smacked my finger on the faucet. So, there is nothing I just did that you could not have repeated with Cremo, Dollar Shave Club shave butter. I did not like the Vanderhagen shave butter. You need a good shaving soap, shaving cream. The cheap stuff isn't cheap and doesn't work as well. Shave butter from Dollar Shave Club, not horrible. Don't use it with a double-edged razor. It clogs up the razor. But on a cartridge, do a little bit, rinse your cartridge out. Do a little more, rinse it out. You saw how often I was rinsing? Rinse more if you're using shea butter. It plugs up the razor and your razor stops cutting. You want your razor to work as efficiently as possible. Just keep in mind, 3 shaves. If you want to, skip one, skip the against the grain one. That's the one that's most likely to irritate your face, but it's also the one that gives you that final super good shave. But, one more pass XTG the other direction, maybe that gets you, 90% of the way there. Don't irritate your face. Figure out what's irritating your face and fix that. Different blade, different products, different technique. I would recommend, there are some good videos by Razor Emporium. There's good videos by, his YouTube channel is GeoFatBoy. He owns ShavingNation.com. For samples, if you want to try some of this stuff, but you don't want to commit to a big product, Magard razors, I'll put a link in the description. You can get samples of things like skin food, liquid aftershaves, we call them splashes. Like this is the soap I'm using. It's a little sample, but I got like 6-7 shaves out of this. However, to use this kind of soap, you do need a brush. You can do it on your face, but you still need the brush. Now, if you don't want to use the brush, you can get things like this. This is DR Harris shaving cream, and you can hand lather this. I'm going to do it right now, and I'll just rinse it off. I'll just do it on my finger, my hands, because I don't want to rinse off the skin leather, or the Spanish leather skin food. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get hands wet. Okay, my hands are wet. I'm going to squeegee out some. That's it. I'm going to rub my fingers together. A little more water. A little more water. What I usually do, I keep one hand covered in it. I take this and I lather up my face, adding some water as I need it, right? Because you want it wet. I leave this one covered. I don't get rid of this because I know it doesn't look like it. There's enough product on my hand right now to do 3 passes. 100%. If I do this, I'm going to apply more to my face than I need. What I've got here, I can apply to my face, rinse this hand off, do my shave, take the wet hand, get some more lather, build it up in my face. Oops, that was brilliant. And repeat and get my 3-pass shave. I used to do it in the shower. It is 100% doable. They don't seem to have at Magard's the sample size of that, nor do they seem to have the sample size of the GOF Trumper. No connection to Donald Trump. If you're a Democrat or otherwise anti-Trump, no connection. But it is available. I believe I got my samples at Razor Emporium, but it is available online on Amazon, and it's not super expensive. I would suggest the GF Trumper, or GFT is what we usually call it. GFT rather than DR Harris. It is cheaper, and I think it's at least as good. It may be better. That's one of those things where you'll hear it all the time in the shaving community. Your mileage may vary. 100%. What works for person A might not work for person B. Don't assume. It's not that you're doing something wrong. You might be, but you might not be. Everybody's face is different. Everybody's style is different. Everybody's skin is different. Their water is different. I use distilled water for most of my shaving product stuff, but I do rinse my face and get it wet and everything with regular tap water. My tap water is very hard. That doesn't work well for a lot of the soaps. So I have some soaps that I can use with it, but otherwise I use distilled water. So try different razors, try different blades, try different soaps, try different aftershaves, try different techniques. Watch a lot of stuff. See what works for you. There's no competition here. There's no race. My advice is to not chase a perfect shave. Chase a comfortable shave that is good enough. If it's comfortable, not irritating your face, and it's good enough, shave again tomorrow, right? Your face isn't irritated. It only needs to make it till the next morning or until the night, because you can shave again that evening if you're going out, if you're doing morning shaves. I shave in the evening, but I don't need a clean shaven face when I go to work, and my face usually looks pretty good until late afternoon. At that point, I look like I've got a little stubble, but it doesn't matter. So take care, have fun, enjoy your shave, guys. It doesn't have to be a chore. It can be fun.